When my children were first diagnosed, I felt that I was alone, and I was very stressed quite a bit of the time. I look back on that now and probably wish that I had been able to take a little bit more time and just enjoy my children as children.
I wish at the very beginning that I had only seen my baby as a child and for the baby that he was, and not really so focused on that he had a diagnosis. When you focus so much on the diagnosis, you forget to enjoy him, you forget to enjoy your life, you forget to enjoy your family.
I think some things that I wish I'd known in the beginning was where to reach out. When you're in the hospital, when your child's first born, the social workers give you a packet of information, and typically there's stuff in there about family support or something like that. I needed that. I needed to hear other parents say, it's going to be okay, my kid's doing the same thing, or call this doctor, or go to this place, or anything that gave me any kind of hope that we were going to grow up and be fine.
In the very beginning, when we were starting to learn more and more about Trevor's diagnosis and what it meant, a lot of his stuff, the symptoms were behavioral, major meltdowns, raging about everything. I felt so at a loss for how to handle that as a parent until I started reaching out to other parents that had kids a lot like mine. I felt like I wasn't doing it right. I obviously didn't know how to parent. Other parents said, it's okay, you can do this. Yes, this is what happens sometimes. It's okay, it's not your fault that the kid is laying on the floor screaming at Walmart. It's his brain, it's the way it's working in that moment. Once I made that connection and realized, oh, I'm not a bad parent, I just have to parent in a different way. Huge change. I wish I would have known that much earlier. I wouldn't have spent as much time worrying about what people said about me as they walked by or what they thought about how I was handling the situation.
I think it's very important for families to get connected very quickly. It took a while for me to get connected with some of the systems, such as the local IDD authorities, the intellectual and developmental disability authorities. I wish that I had had the opportunity to do it a little bit sooner than I did because my son Christopher was on that waiting list for community supports for 10 years. He was a senior in high school by the time he got some support.
The biggest thing I wish I had known when Jason was little was that the therapies that we did with him were not as important as the social aspect of life. That it was important for us that he walk and that he talk, but sometimes that got in the way of him playing. And I think he was 6 when I finally put him in an inclusive child care.
That was so important for my children to be in the typical classroom with other kids without disabilities. I think they learned from that. They were challenged. It also gave me a circle of support of people who didn't have children with disabilities, that I could learn that, my kids were typical in a lot of ways, and see that what my kids were doing wasn't because of their disability. It was because they were just being kids.
When Jason was little, I struggled with depression. I struggled with lots of things that had somebody been able to get through to me to say you have to be your own individual, you can't just be Jason's mom, I would have been better off. And I learned by going to a therapist, to rediscover who I was and to make that an importance as well.
I never say that I fight for Trevor's rights. I don't do that. It's not a fight. It's about learning how to work together. I don't fight the school. I work with the school. I don't fight the system. I work with the system, whatever system it might be. There's no reason to fight. It's just figure it out and follow all the steps that you can.
One of the things that helped me deal with the professionals in Jason's life, and the insurance companies and the, all the minutia that goes with that, was to realize that they're also people, and they have a life behind their job, and they have stresses, and they have difficulties, and me yelling at them wasn't going to help that.
What I would have said to myself 10 years ago is, it's really hard and you're going to have some really, really hard, awful days, but there's going to be more really good days than those really bad days.
I would probably not be so hard on myself, give myself some slack for not having the right answer or the right decision right away, because I was pretty hard on myself, in the very beginning.
If I could change anything about Trevor and I, really the only thing I would change is my attitude about his disability. Nothing about him. My attitude is what I would change.